In 2025, the world stands on the brink of a major transformation. Global conflicts are intensifying, geopolitical tensions are rising, and the global balance of power is teetering on the edge. In this critical year, a new order is emerging, one that will redefine the way nations interact, how economies operate, and how power is distributed across the globe. And at the heart of it all, we find a tumultuous Middle East, a tense Europe, and the potential return of Donald Trump to the White House. Let's start by looking at the Middle East. For decades, this region has been a powder keg of instability. From the ongoing conflicts in Syria to the tensions between Iran and its neighbors, the Middle East has been a flashpoint for geopolitical struggles. But in 2025, the situation could take a dangerous turn. With the rise of new power dynamics, the possibility of a broader regional conflict looms. Nations like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Israel, and Iran are locked in a delicate balance of power, but with shifting alliances and changing priorities, this balance could easily tip into something much more dangerous. The Middle East is a hub of energy resources, primarily oil, which has always made it a key focal point for global powers. However, as the world begins to shift toward renewable energy sources, the region's influence may begin to wane. But don't be fooled into thinking that this will reduce conflict. In fact, it may trigger even more competition for influence in the region, as countries scramble to secure their positions. Nations like Russia and China, seeking to challenge Western dominance, are already increasing their presence in the region. A geopolitical chessboard is being set, and the moves made in 2025 could dictate the course of history for decades to come. Europe, too, finds itself in a precarious position. The continent has long been a bastion of stability, but in 2025, its future looks uncertain. The European Union, once a symbol of unity and peace, is facing deep divisions. Economic struggles, rising nationalism, and the fallout from past conflicts are fracturing the European landscape. The UK's exit from the EU is just one example of the instability that's sweeping through the region, but the real danger lies in the potential for new conflicts to arise within Europe's borders. With tensions already high in places like Ukraine, the Balkans, and Belarus, the risk of war in Europe is growing by the day. This is where the policies of Donald Trump come into play. If he does return to the White House in 2025, the world could see a dramatic shift in how the United States engages with the rest of the world. Trump's foreign policy has always been one of unpredictability and isolationism. He pulled the US out of key international agreements, imposed tariffs on foreign goods, and generally sought to reduce America's involvement in global conflicts. But will this strategy change if he returns to power? Some experts argue that Trump will double down on his America First approach, focusing on rebuilding the US economy while distancing the nation from international alliances and obligations. Others believe that, in the face of growing global instability, he may find himself drawn back into the very conflicts he tried to avoid. But let's not forget about Trump's stance on the Middle East. During his first term, he took bold steps, like moving the US embassy to Jerusalem and pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal. His policies sparked strong reactions, both in support and in opposition, and his return to power could lead to even more drastic measures. A strengthened US presence in the Middle East, or even direct military intervention, could push the region into full-scale conflict. The implications of this are enormous, not only for the Middle East but for the entire world. Meanwhile, Russia and China are watching closely, ready to capitalize on any weakness in the West. These two nations have been steadily increasing their influence in the Middle East, Africa, and even Latin America. Their strategic alliances with countries like Iran, Syria, and Venezuela are a direct challenge to US dominance. In 2025, as Trump seeks to reassert American power, the competition between these global giants could lead to an all-out geopolitical struggle. The stakes are incredibly high, and the world is caught in the middle of a contest for control over the future. This is where the concept of a reshaped global order comes into play. In 2025, the idea of a new world order is no longer just a conspiracy theory or a distant vision, it's an impending reality. This new order could be one where the traditional power structures are dismantled, where the US no longer holds the position of unquestioned global leadership, and where China, Russia, and other emerging powers dictate the terms of international relations. As global conflict looms, new alliances are being formed, and old ones are being tested. What we may be witnessing is not just a battle for resources or territory, but a battle for the very structure of the world order. Who will emerge as the dominant power in this new era? Will it be the West, led by a resurgent US under Trump, or will it be the East, with Russia and China at the helm? This new global order will not only shape the political and economic future of nations but also redefine the very way we interact with one another. With the rise of digital technologies, surveillance, and artificial intelligence, the way power is exercised will be vastly different from anything we've known before. Social media, online platforms, and data manipulation will play a pivotal role in this new world, potentially creating a more connected but also more controlled global society. The question is, will this reshaped order bring about peace and prosperity, or will it lead to more conflict, division, and control? In conclusion, the events of 2025 will undoubtedly be pivotal in the shaping of our future. The Middle East, Europe, and the policies of Donald Trump all play crucial roles in the direction our world will take. As tensions rise and old alliances falter, the global order as we know it is being tested. The coming years will reveal whether we are heading toward a new era of global cooperation or an age of unprecedented conflict. What happens next is in our hands, but it's also in the hands of those who hold power in Washington, Moscow, Beijing, and beyond. And so, as we look to 2025 and beyond, we must remain vigilant, aware, and prepared. The world is changing, and the next chapter is yet to be written. If you found this video insightful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates on global events and the shifting dynamics of world politics. Stay tuned for more analysis, and remember, knowledge is power.